WJG Sports. We journal great.
What's up, everybody? This is the Just Like Brothers podcast, episode number 47. My name is Laika Abibi, here in Greenville, North Carolina. Of course, Kai Jones in Goldsboro, of course.
As always.
And our special guest today, Coach Joshua Williams. Josh, thank you for taking the time and joining us today, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, Josh, man. So what's up, man? Where are you from? Are you from Duplin County originally?
Yes, sir, man. I'm from Duplin County, man. Born and raised here, been here my whole life. Really haven't went much of other places. So, yeah, this is home, man. Just trying to help kids get to where they want to go.
Gotcha, man. So which high school did you graduate from?
I graduated, man, from the Walls Rose Hill, man, the Bulldogs football nation.
Hey, it is. Duplin County football is big time. I'll tell you that.
Big time.
Yeah, we rock with was it Javon Williams?
Hey, man, I got some stories about Javonte Williams, man. You wouldn't believe. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
We'll talk about it on the pod, though. Some good stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But what is your coaching background like in terms of where you've coached around the area?
Everywhere, man. I started out like most other coaches do, man. Before you can go to high school or anything like that, rec ball definitely. Then I pretty much when we started the AAU program about 9 years ago now, coached for a year or so there. Then I got one of my real good buddies. He started coaching at a local high school. He wanted me to come on and help him coach the girls, so I did that for about a year. Then with work and everything, it's kind of hard to balance it. You know, high school basketball is all day, every day, 12 months out the year. So I kind of backed off from it, and I would just help them intermittently. Then I got a call. One of the local middle schools needed a coach. So they were like, well, Josh, I know you got a lot going on. I said, man, it's helping kids. Y'all don't have anybody. I jumped in and helped them. I did that for a year, and then Duplin County did a redistricting. They went K through 8 for like all the schools instead of doing like individual middle schools. So then I got out of it then. So now just really doing travel basketball like I normally do, like I've always done, man. It's pretty much my wheelhouse. Though I love coaching at the school level, at high school level. I kind of like to be penciled in. I kind of like helping kids from all over the county and even into other counties. We got kids that play for us from Pender County as well as even some Onslow County kids. So I just love helping kids get to their goals and what they want to do.
Right, man. So, you run, was it DCBC, correct?
DCBC, a lot of people ask me what that stands for. It's Duplin County Basketball Club.
Right. Gotcha. So what is it like? We always see a lot of video, a lot of hype around, some of the bigger, programs on the bigger stages or whatever. You talk about circuits and stuff like that. What is it like for someone like you trying to run a smaller club?
Honestly, man, I think it's all much of the same. You're trying to, except on my level, is more or less trying to keep your guys focused on what you're doing, and trying to keep your guys just staying with you. So what I find is I just try to make it more of a family atmosphere. I talk to my guys all the time. They know they can always reach me. Before this COVID-19 stuff started happening, you could find them coming to my house all the time because we have a lot of local kids, and they know they can reach out to me. So we try to just make it a family atmosphere. And to be honest with you, I have no animosity towards the bigger teams. Honestly, I tell my kids, if it's more beneficial for you to go to a bigger team, then I'm going to be the first person to tell you, hey, look, CP3 calling you, go. You know what I'm saying? I had a kid a few years ago. Y'all probably know him. His name is Quate McKenzie, about 6'7". He played for Harold's Christian Academy. He started playing with us. And he told me CP3 approached him about playing. I said, man, you 6'7". Our tallest person near to you is about 6'2". You need to go now. Tell him you'll be there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Do I need to drive you? Things of that nature, because if we're all in it for the right reasons, we're in it for the kids, man. That's what it's all about. And if anything I can do to help a kid get to the level they want to get to, even if it's not playing with my program, I try to do everything in my power to do it.
Right. So of course you said your claim. What do you think the reason is that some of the smaller clubs kind of feel some sort of animosity towards the bigger clubs when they do get a player who came up in there and then they go and move on to another program?
I think it's more so a lot of the smaller clubs feel like they invested a lot in the kids, and that's one thing I don't like, especially the last couple of years. A lot has been coming up about AAU, about the people that don't do the right things and all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of guys I can start naming their names that they do everything they can for their kids, and you don't want a kid to get snatched up just because you don't go to big shots all the time, or your whole schedule's not big shots, and your whole schedule not phenom hoops. You're not playing on an Adidas silver circuit, so you're investing time and effort into the kid, and you just don't like to see that just go to waste. And I think that's what a lot of the smaller teams feel, because just like for me, for example, a lot of some of the kids on the team we have now, I've been coaching them since they were in 5th grade. So being that we've had them for 3 or 4 years, you would hate for all of a sudden 3 or 4 kids to walk away. And it just, as a coach, it's like when that happens, you pretty much have to hit the reset button. Either try to get a couple kids to fill in, and if you can't, which is hard, especially from smaller areas, because it's hard enough to find good basketball players, more or less just finding 2 or 3 to fill in. You most of the time have to hit the reset button, and that not only hurts you as a coach, but it hurts the other kids that depend on those kids to come back and play.
Right. So what is actually, like you had a question. Go ahead. I lost my train.
I did. First of all, Quante McKenzie. I played against him his sophomore year of high school. My school, Westchester Country Day, played against him in the playoffs, and they were the team that put us out. My senior year, they put us out of the playoffs at our place.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He gave the buckets. He went to Buffalo and then Cape Fear.
Yeah. He went to Buffalo and then Cape Fear. So you remember Tashi Scarborough that played on that team?
Yes,
the point guard. He started off with us too, man. He's another kid from Duplin County. If I could ever got him to shoot a jump shot, he can play, but he refused to shoot the ball. But as far as court vision, passing, setting the team up, leadership, man, he has it all.
Yeah, he gave us the work too. But those two put us out of the playoffs pretty much. They were ridiculously good.
They started off with us.
Their best of a long time, I believe. So, but my question was, for Duplin County Basketball Club, who are some of the people that made it possible at the beginning to like really build it into the program it is now?
Crazy thing is me, one of my really good friends, Kenneth Williams. He's coaching the girls at James Keenan High School down the street here. One of my really good buddies, Darius. We all got together and we all decided that it was time to do something in Duplin County that had never been done on the kind of scale that we were trying to do it on. So we all got together and talked it out. And at that time, we had a group of girls that we were working with. And I had a group of older boys that I had been working with for about a year or so. And we decided, man, it's time to get Duplin County on the map doing something, because we lose a lot of players. Either they don't have the opportunity to go to Wilmington or Goldsboro or Raleigh and play. And we can keep them right here at home and teach them and train them and things like that. So that's how it started about 8 years ago.
What age group? Oh, sorry, Kyle.
Go ahead.
What age groups is your range for DCBC? What are you guys coaching right now?
Right now, 9th through 12th. We have another local team. They do pretty much 3rd through 6th or 3rd through 7th. So they play with them. We pretty much 9th through 12th. So I work with mostly high school kids. I did have an 8th grade team that we started, but now they're in 9th grade. So pretty much 9th through 12th right now.
Gotcha.
Right. So with you having that, how is the development I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this correctly. When you
Okay.
look at it, bringing guys up to play in a higher age group, how important do you think that is to their development? And how do you kind of keep their minds off of when they take those tough, those big losses to some of the more experienced teams?
Crazy, man. The group I'm working with right now, I started with them when they were in seventh grade. Uh, we, I had on that team, I had six, I think I had seventh graders, and I had two eighth graders. So conventional wisdom would have been, hey man, play down, cut the two eighth graders, play down the seventh grade, y'all can do good. But me being a coach I don't want to turn no kid away that actually wants to play, learning how to play and have potential. So I said, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep the eighth graders. We already promised that we're gonna play, and we're just going to play up the whole year. So we play at eighth grade the whole summer, pretty much as a seventh grade team, really. And we took some bad losses. I mean, there was games we were up 20 points, they ended up losing by 1 point. They had several different occasions, but the whole time I'm preaching, it's a learning process. We gotta learn how to close out games. We gotta learn how to make that one or two plays, not make that turnover the whole summer. And I found myself preaching that the whole summer. So then we came back last summer. I actually had some more at that time. They were eighth graders. I had some more eighth graders to come on. So then I was able to split the team up to an eighth grade team and a ninth grade team. So then last year the eighth grade team, they were phenomenal, and you could tell they had grew mentally, and that's where the growth is a lot in basketball. It's not always skill; it's about mental fortitude. So they had grew a lot mentally, and because they had grown a lot mentally, those mistakes that we were making, trying to run up and down the court when we already up 15, we should slow the ball down. They wasn't doing it anymore, and things of that nature. So you could see the growth there, and that's really why I played them up. Uh, it's just mentally, so they wouldn't have the room for error. So it made them all basketball better players because they had to be more efficient and not make those mistakes.
Being from a smaller town, in North Carolina, how do you promote the kids, and what is work for you in trying to get the kids seen really?
Um, really, what I try to do is much like anybody else, man. Video, talking to other people, talking to different people like you guys, just to see what your evaluation on them is. So I know what to do as a coach. I know what to tell them. I know what to work with them with. I know what to, and also talking with the high school coaches about, what they're doing, what they see in the kid, and what I can do to help them help their jobs out. Just trying to forge a relationship so it's clear across the board. And I feel like that's really what worked for us. You know,
Right. Now, of course, we were talking a little bit off air about how does how do you find the best events for your kids to go to?
word of mouth, research, more research, talking to other coaches that have been there, building those relationships. Um, and really, what I base it off of a lot is the performance, their performance in certain events. We do a lot of big regional events that I know a lot of teams are going to come to, and I tell my kids all the time is if we can't beat the local teams, we can't go play against the more regionalized teams or the national teams. So you gotta be realistic and honest with your kids, and it gives them that drive and that motivation to like, hey, we're better than this. Let's go ahead and show coach we can play well against this team so we can play against better teams, so on and so forth. So you got to always keep that motivation, that drive with your kids. So really, to answer your question, to find the better events and the events that we should attend is experience because I've been doing it so long. So I almost know what teams are going to show up at what places, and build a relationship with coaches, especially coaches that I know over the years normally have solid teams. I always call them and talk to them about where they're going and stuff like that. That's what we normally do.
When it comes to picking events too, how do you try to balance making sure your players are growing versus how much this exposure this camp is going to give?
I do it about 50-50. Um, we it's a lot of people talk about exposure, 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 exposure. I talk to my kids about having the right kind of exposure, or we need to go to events that kind of have eye caliber talent. Um, I talk to a lot of teams all the time. They'll send their team down to Atlanta, Georgia, and play in a Nike qualifier event. I mean, I know I don't have any Nike kids, so that's not going to help me. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm trying to accomplish with my kid. Not saying that I won't eventually have that, but I know right now at that point I didn't have 10 of them. So I try to play in events that I know are going to be more regionalized teams. And so we try to pick and choose those events, and then I try to maximize my time in NCAA live period, which is really, really important to actually go out there when the coaches can come out, when you'll have more scouting services out because that event caters more towards that. So you try to pick and choose those events as well.
As a team, I'll ask this: have you ever had, kind of a bad experience with a tournament or an event? And if you could elaborate, why was it a bad experience?
That's an excellent question, man. Oh man, that's a
Are you
great
trying to get
question.
him in trouble?
No.
Nah.
Have a conversation.
But that's a great question. It's always out there, man, that me and my contemporaries, we always talk about, hey, if we know that event, don't check your stuff when you walk in. We mean when you check your stuff, that means as soon as you walk through the door, somebody should be peeling you. Hey, you the coach. We need your birth certificates, your report cards, the whole 9 yards. We need to interview the players. We know in a particular event is not checking that, my team not going. It's just bottom line. I've been to tournaments. Everybody has done this, and man, you got an 8th grade team. You going out there playing against guys, tattoos everywhere, and you're like, what in the world? 8th grade tattoos everywhere. It's 3, 4, 6, 7 players. You know what I'm saying? 8th grade, 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? That we went and played in a tournament up in Charlotte. There was a 6, 7, 8th grader, but you could tell he was a 6, 7, 8th grader. Now we playing against 6, 7, 8th grader playing point guard. All right, now we got some questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So every AAU coach in the world has those kind of stories, man. I can go on and on all night. I know we don't have all night, but we can go on and on all night about that. And I'm glad over the last 2 or 3 seasons, there's been an emphasis on from AAU to NTBA to USBA to Big Shots to the whole 9, all the events coordinators are trying to move towards a better streamlined process so that kind of stuff won't happen, but it's going to happen. I tell my kids we still got now with social media and everything. Most of the time I know from coaches, if I get the schedule we're playing against Team X and Team Y, I'm looking on the internet, everybody post their team, post their players. So most of the time you know who you're going up against even before you get there. So but that was a great question. So we all have those stories. Great stories.
When you look at it, what do you say to the teams who are afraid to post their rosters? We always see, before the corona hit, everyone was like, "Where's the rosters? Where's the rosters?" Why is it such a secret for the rosters for AAU?
I honestly don't know, and that's a great question. Most of it's because a lot of teams go from week to week, really don't lock in their players. A lot of teams will get one guy this weekend to come in and play. The next time you see them, they'll have 10 different players. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you one, man, the good story, man. We're playing the Nationals. I won't tell you the name of the team. We're playing the Nationals about, matter of fact, this one, Javante was actually playing for me. I saw him a couple weeks ago, and he reminded me of this story. We're playing against a team in South Carolina. We were at Nationals in Myrtle Beach. And we played them the first game of the tournament, first game. We beat them. And it was probably about a month or 2 before that, we had went down to a tournament, and I purposely scheduled a tournament at that building that I knew would be played there just because we knew we were going to Nationals. And we played them in that tournament. Beat them both times. Get the bracket play in the gold division. Who's going to be the champion? I think we had to play them in the second round. They walk in, same coach, all new players.
Come on,
and they said, "Coach, what you gonna do?" I said,
"Man, come on, Coach."
They said, "Coach." I looked at the coach. I said, "Coach, where are all these guys from?" I think at that time we were probably 8th grade. No, we were in 9th grade then. had a kid, man, dunking on vert and everything. Dunking on vert in the ninth grade. I mean, in the paint, just jumping straight up, slamming it in. I was like, what the fuck you just kid from, man? And my boys was like, Coach, like, how can he do that? I said, look, guys, we cannot control what other people do. All we can do is control ourselves. We ended up winning the game. That coach didn't even want to shake my hand after the game. He knew, hey, because he knew who we had, and I had no idea who he had. And, it was crazy. Because my parents were livid. I couldn't show no emotion. On the inside, I was mad, but we still had to play. And you had to go through a whole lot of stuff just to dispute it, so I didn't want to go through. We won anyway, so we forgot about it. But that was funny. Javante reminded me about that a few weeks ago, which is very interesting.
It's good to get the last laugh after that, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, in the back of your mind, you're just like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, so in those situations, man, what is it like trying to prepare your team mentally in a situation like that?
It's actually difficult. It's got to be a series of events. You got to have the kind of kids that they don't care who they playing against. They just want to play. They basketball players. They're hoopers. Is what I tell my kids. You're a hooper. It doesn't matter if you're in ninth grade or 12th grade. If you want to be a basketball player, at some point you're gonna have to play against kids that's older than you anyway. So why not today? Let's go ahead. We know what we're supposed to do. Let's go out here and do it. So it's got to be a mental thing. I've seen some teams go against big teams that are taller than them, just fold. Teams I know that are good. That it's just like I said, it's a mental, just as much a mental game as a physical game. Just have that mental fortitude to just keep playing anyway. That's why I try to teach my kids all the time. Just have that mental fortitude that doesn't matter who we play. All that matters is how you play. That's what I tell my kids all the time.
With everything that's going on right now, what have been some of the things you've been doing to like stay in touch with the kids and keep them like in shape and stuff like that for what's to come, and what if you guys will be able to play? What are some of the things you guys will be able to do to like stay connected?
Well, stuff like we're doing today, Zoom call. We got Snapchat group. Because if you're going to ever get up with the kids, gotta be on social media. So we have a Snapchat group, and we're constantly talking back and forth. I always tell them whenever this COVID started to happen, I told them now we're going to see who the real basketball players are. And I always ask them, I text the group every day, who picked up a ball. If you pick up a ball, record yourself, stuff like that, so we can actually see each other, communicate. Because like I was saying earlier, we're a family. So family, look out for one another, and I'm constantly calling them and checking on them and just giving them different things I can see that they can work on to be better, and things of that nature. I text them the other day, man, I hate all this happened. I miss you guys, even though I got a 4-month-old, so I'm enjoying the time being home with her, and so I'm enjoying that, but I still miss you guys because you guys are like family. So just telling them that, man, and just trying to keep them encouraged, because a lot of them, that AAU is what they love. Even some of them tell you they love playing AAU more than school ball. A lot of kids will tell you that. But so it's kind of like a something they were looking forward to is being taken away. So you gotta kind of cater to them in that way, because it's something that they love and they enjoy that's actually just being taken away from them for this. And kids at that age, someone really don't understand the magnitude even now of what we're going through. They just think. I had a kid text me the other day. They said, "Oh, Coach, on May 8th we're gonna get back in the gym." Like, no, I hate to tell you, May 8th is probably not going to happen. Even if we can get back in the gym, there's no tournament going to be given out. Going to be played. So just gotta keep them encouraged, keep them built up, and just tell them, hey, man, when all this is over, we're gonna get back to normal. We're gonna keep grinding like we were before this all started.
And we're gonna find out who's who on the court.
Oh, you're definitely gonna find that out. You're gonna find it out fast.
Right. So when you look at your players right now, who are some names that we need to be looking out for?
I knew this would come up.
Yeah, this is the time.
Come on now, Coach.
I need some names, baby.
I hate to single out any of my kids, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a couple.
I'm about to say, hey, you can talk about all of them. We got time.
Yeah,
I
plenty
can,
of
I can
time.
go. I can go through the laundry list of all of them, but we'll be here all night. Uh, night on my ninth grade team. Pretty sure y'all already know Kanye Roberts. He the running back from Wallace Rose Hill.
Yep,
Keep
I
him
do.
on the radar, man. He's probably gonna end up going Division I football somewhere. But
Oh yeah,
he's
he
a
is.
phenomenal athlete.
He
phenomenal
is.
athlete. Phenomenal athlete. He loves basketball. But football is his calling card. But just keep him on your radar. Uh, yeah, another kid. Matter of fact, his name is Jaden Faison. Me and Kai talked about him a little bit. He plays for East Duplin. He's gonna blow up next year. This is a really he's I talk to him almost every day. He's always texting me, Coach, we gotta get in the gym, Coach, we gotta work out, Coach, we gotta do this, Coach, we gotta do that. Man, he's a gym rat. And
I
he's
saw
one of
him
my
play
few
twice this year, Coach.
yeah, he's
He's
one of
pretty
my
good.
few kids. He's one of my few kids, left hand kid can really shoot the lights out of it.
Yeah.
Uh he's one of my few kids that don't play football. So he's basketball 12 months out the year. So he's probably shooting ball at the house right now. So please be on the lookout for Jaden Faison, man. 2023 right now is loaded, 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 loaded. East Dublin has a kid named Dante Hall. He's gonna be a special kid. He's gonna come to varsity next year. He's gonna immediately be an impact kid. Yesian Baker, write that down. Jacksonville North Side. He's gonna be next year. He's gonna be special. Uh, he's gonna be a kid. Nasir Williams. He played for Richlands. Gonna be another special kid that plays for us. Jaheim Faison plays for Walls Rose Hill 2023. He's going to be a great player. Jalen James, another one. Keon Faison. I can go on and on and on. Right now, we just have a wealth of talent right now, especially in 2023. I don't know what it is about 2023 right now. We got a lot of talent right here going on in Duplin County right now in 2023.
It's looking good around the state.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good year for Duplin County basketball in the next 3 years. So, I'm just gonna be here to sitting on the sidelines watching, just like you guys, just watching them grow and develop. And it's nice, like I try to tell people, I only can do a little bit. But it's just nice to do the little bit I can do.
Right. Now, of course, now, how do you kind of help the guys transition from, travel ball to high school ball? I mean, because I know Duplin County, a couple of teams, they under 500, some of them are close to 500. How do you
Right.
kind of, keep their spirits up and kind of understand how the transition from the AAU game to the school game, what they're kind of what they're doing?
I try to keep it more the same, man. Just from my communication with the coaches. I talk to all the coaches, especially in the county, especially if they have a kid playing for me. About matter of fact, right before all this started, I had pretty much wrapped up all my conversation with the coaches, with all the kids I have playing, about what they're looking for out of the kid, what they want to see them grow in. So whenever I'm coaching them, I can try to get them to that place that a coach wants them to be. And me personally, what I try to do is keep the kids as organized as possible. As far as we're running different little sets. You're kind of playing a position you're gonna be playing in high school. I don't have really nobody really playing out of position. Anything crazy that I don't have my big playing point guard. That I know he's not gonna be a point guard in high school unless he has that skill set. I don't have any like that. If I do run across one, I'll let you guys know. But I don't have any 6'5", supposed to be bigs playing point or anything like that when they're not supposed to. So, trying to work on those skills that I know the coaches are going to be asking them to do in high school, and staying on the same page with the coaches. That's something that's really missed in AAU travel basketball, whatever you want to call it. Is really missed is being on the same page as the high school coaches. So I try to do that as much as I can, and just try to keep the kids going in that direction. And then even during the school year, some of my kids get down on themselves because they're not playing as much as they want. So I'm always there, to talk to them about, the game they had that day, and things of that nature. Because what kids don't understand is what I know you can do and what your high school coach know you can do is two different things. Right? There's not but so much he's going to listen to me for. You got to prove it to him just like you prove it to me. So just go out there and prove yourself over and over.
How important is it for the high school coaches to build bridges with AAU coaches, and how important is it for? And I don't want to get into this because too much of a big picture thing because you're only one coach, one program.
Right.
So, what do you think the divide is between sometimes the AAU coaches and then the high school head coaches, and how do you think things need to improve, or how do you think things could change from your experiences?
Man, that's a great question. And it's really a compound question. Like you said, I'm just one coach in one bubble. But what I find is many times as a AAU coach, we have one belief in the player. And as a high school coach, they have another belief in the player. So we got to find common ground. A lot of times some AAU coaches, I don't myself, but some get in disputes with the high school coach. But how are we going to win? The kid has to go to that high school. He's going to be at that high school for 4 years unless they move and go somewhere else. So what we have to do is we have to get that kid to be adaptable. Let me liken it to this. If I'm a 20-point, 25-point game scorer in high school, that means that's where I'm going to be in college? Probably not. I'm going to have to learn a specific role and be able to thrive in that role. So as an AAU coach, I preach that to my kids as well. Is the role I have you in here might not be your role in high school, and you can't get upset at your coach if you're playing a different role, because your role on that team might be different than your role on this team. But what a college coach want to see you do is they want to see you be adaptable. They want to see if you're not getting the ball, what are you doing on defense? Are you boxing out, getting rebound? You know what I'm saying? Are you diving on the floor for loose balls? Are you going after 50-50? So I preach to that my kids all the time about being adaptable, because you never know. Matter of fact, I got a kid named Alex Zelaya. He lives in Fayetteville. He comes all the way down here to play with us from Duplin County because he started playing with us, and he said he's not going to play for anybody else. He's my point guard, but what I like about him is if I say, Alex, man, hey, you might not get any shots up, but hey, you stop number 15. He's going to take pride in stopping number 15. And that's where the divide is, I think, is we all have our opinion of a player. And a lot of times as AAU coaches and school coaches, we don't preach to kids enough about being adaptable and about being able to thrive in different kind of situations. It's a life lesson, really, is being able to thrive in different situations, because you don't never know what situation you're going to be put in. So what I would tell coaches, other AAU coaches, is build that relationship with your high school coaches as much as possible. Some high school coaches still frown upon AAU, and it's 2020. Some high school coaches, they're always not going to like it. But you try to build that relationship where you guys kind of working together. You're not working against him by telling the player he's a point guard when the high school coach going to have him playing the three. I'm not telling you can't work on point guard skills, but you also want to work on those skills that high school coach going to have you at, so that kid won't be like, man, I'm supposed to be playing point guard. Or now the high school coach is like, who said that? I need you to play this position. Well, I want to play point guard. Now you're going to be relegated to the bench. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have that working together, I think, in order for it all to be successful. Because if we're in it for the right reason, and this always ties back to this, we're in it for the kids and the betterment of the kids, then we're going to teach kids to be adaptable anyway.
Right. And then one thing, I normally also see a lot is the situations where kids, they're in a certain program and they're looked at as superstar of the program, all this potential, all of this and that. But they're young, they're freshmen, sophomore, trying to build. And the high school coach doesn't necessarily say, yeah, you are, and doesn't really give them the minutes. What is it like trying to get them to understand that, sometimes you have to wait your turn?
You got to wait your turn. You got to earn it. And that's what most high school coaches are seeing. Most of the time, a coach know your potential. Most high school coaches, the bigger programs, have seen you play when you were in middle school. They know you average 27 points a game in middle school. But they're trying to teach you, okay, it's an humbling process coming up to high school, and can you do it here? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of kids feel like, okay, I did this at this level, I'm automatically entitled to this at this level. It's just like we were talking off air about the people in your corner. Who is preaching to you, like, hey, you gotta, every level is different. Every level you gotta start from the beginning. Every level you gotta earn it. You gotta prove yourself. And then once you prove yourself, the coach himself, knowing the game and knowing what you can add to the team, they're not going to keep you on the bench if you can help the team win. But you got to prove it to the coach that you're willing to accept being in the role that you're in. And then if the team sees that you can help the team is going to vouch for you. And that's why I try to tell my kids is don't allow what position you're in to affect your attitude. Okay? You go out there and you work harder. You know what I'm saying? You put up more shots. So when you get on that court, you're effective in the time you're on the court. And I think if more people are trying to change kids' mentality rather than saying you're entitled to this, then we'll have better results with kids overall.
Right. And also too, I think sometimes that too also leads to this divide between AAU coaches and high school coaches when this guy who is heavily invested with a kid a lot more often is saying, hey, this is what this kid can do, and then the high school coach is like, well, no, I haven't seen that, or no, I believe he needs more time before he can do that. And it leads to the AAU coach, fire the coach don't know what he's doing. Just talking a whole bunch.
You and what you're saying is right. I hear it all the time, but I'm not going to tell nobody to fire no coach because they don't play my player. That would be wrong with me.
Right.
But in the same instance is I think a lot of people don't account that we all see and look at the game a little bit differently. Every coach has their own philosophy. Maybe that coach don't see where your kid fit in. Maybe that kid has to show that coach where he fits in this coach's particular philosophy to get that spot. A lot of coaches now are schemed, especially in football. Football king in Duplin County. If you can't do exactly what that coach wants and you can't adapt to what he wants, you won't play. And it's as simple as that. That coach want the receivers to block, and you're like, hey, coach, man, I can run this 9 route. I'm the fastest player on the team. I'm gonna run this 9. Throw it up to me, the coach. I don't need that. I need some kids that my receivers that wanna block. And then you constantly saying I'm running this 9. Throw me the post. You know what I'm saying? Throw me the fly route. You're like, does somebody want to block? You know what I'm saying? Give me somebody that's gonna block on this jet sweep. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's what we deal with a lot. Is we believe the kid to be one thing, the coach sees, all right, this is my scheme, this is where I see this kid fitting in, and the kid don't want to fit into that, and the kid is get relegated to the bench. He's gonna keep you on the team because you can play, but I mean your playing time gonna be very little because you're not doing what the coach needs you to do.
Very well said, Coach.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think when it comes down to it, it's all about, I think, like you said, the kids got to be first, and there's got to be some sort of respect between the coaches to understand, exactly the role that each other is going to play in the kid's life.
Right. What a lot of people miss is a lot of these coaches are teachers and coaches. So they see these kids more than we see them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's often said, I mean, you're at school more than you're at home. So technically speaking, this coach can see this kid more than we see him. And what I get out of a kid from seeing them from the bubble I'm seeing them in Saturday and Sunday and twice a week for practice is different than what the teachers get out of the kid and what the coach get out of the kid at that practice. Because being a travel coach, I can't be to your school practices. So the coach's perception on that front is different as well. I've had plenty of kids that coaches come back and tell me, hey, man, Josh, James is giving me an attitude problem. What do you do different? I don't have an attitude problem at it, James. You know what I'm saying? So I can't speak to that. But the coach see them more than I see them and have to deal with different kind of things. So like you said, is right, man. We just got to be on the same page, and you got to always want what's best for the kid.
How, if you were giving advice to a kid, how would you say is the best way to pick out what AAU program you should play in?
Oh man, that's a phenomenal question, man. And
That's why I've been quiet this whole episode. He's been asking good questions.
I tell kids, play for somebody who values you being there rather than who wants you to be there. You know, I tell kids that all the time. Kids that play for me or who don't. I don't care who you play for. Play for someone who values your presence. Josh, if Josh not there, our team doesn't feel right. Or if Josh not there, let me call Kai. Kai come and play and Josh spot. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference. If one of my kids don't show up, all my kids are looking around and say, "Hey, where's Dante?" I don't know. Dante decided he didn't want to show up today. Man, I don't know about us playing in this tournament. You know what I'm saying? Because we have that confidence. If all of us are here, you know what I'm saying? We're better. You know what I'm saying? So I tell kids all the time, I don't care if you play for me. I don't care if you play for Cape Fear. I don't care if you play for Flight. I don't care if you play for WBC. Play for somebody who values you being there and who are concerned about you. Not who, if you leave today, they're just going to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, James, come on, stick in Josh spot." You know what I'm saying? And that's the number one advice I can give any kid. Play for a team that values you being there. Now, player number 2, which all kids going to ask, "Hey, what tournament y'all going to play in?" That's kid. That's always kids. Number 2. No, number 2. Let me excuse that. Who else is on the team?
Yep.
What tournament y'all gonna play in? That's their 2 questions that they ask right after you tell them, "Hey, they say, okay, I'm going to play and this and that." That's their next 2 questions, and those 2 are the toughest to tackle because really you don't know what that kid is looking for. A lot of kids right now say they want competition, be competitive, but when you tell them I got 2 other guards that are just as good as you, if not better, that kid probably not coming to play. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter what else you do, you know. And I feel like now, man, it's tougher than ever because there's so many teams. And right now is really I just stop and I ask kids straight up and I ask the parents straight up, what are you looking to gain out of this? You know what I'm saying? What are you looking for me as a coach to provide to you and your son to help y'all get to the goal that you're trying to achieve? Now, if what you're valuing don't line up with what I value, you might not be the right player for my team. But I can help you go to a team that might have that I don't. You know what I'm saying? Just the kind of person I am. I tell kids all the time, find out what that team values and what you value yourself to be important for you. And that's where you go to. Just don't go for the first team that call you and say, "Hey, man, I want you to play." There's a lot of teams that want you to play, but will a lot of teams value your presence and being there? And I tell kids that all the time. A lot of them don't listen because a lot of them really don't understand what that means about valuing your presence. And I think that's what's missed a lot, man. That was a great question. Phenomenal question.
That was an even better answer.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's what also comes into play when it comes to colleges, even.
Right.
When you're looking at it, understanding the difference between being a roster spot and being a player. That there's a big difference between holding that roster spot and being who's actually playing on the floor.
Yeah, if you're a player, that means I think like if you're a player, like coach values you. If you're a roster spot, then there's like, yeah, you're here, but are you providing something for my program?
Right.
So there's like, so if you got to go to a place. I agree with Kai. You got to go to a program, whether it be AAU or like college or anything. Go where you're, like you said, go where you value, and things will work out with how you fit into a program and other things of that nature. So I'm with both of y'all on that.
Let me say another thing, and this is very important. I talked with a kid about this right before we right before all this stuff happened, is don't think because you can't get on that circuit team that you're not a good player.
Exactly.
Right now with kids, man, it's all about that circuit team, this circuit team, where you playing and all this and all that. I mean, and I to a degree I understand because social media is, the cameramen are at Baller's Life is at every tournament, every Nike, session, every Adidas Gauntlet session, every UA Rise event they're at, and they're videoing it and they're putting it on YouTube. And when you click on YouTube, it's the first thing to pop up, and you want to be that.
Yeah.
And I tell kids all the time, how many NBA players never played on one of them courts? Come back and tell me. Most of the league never went to those events. So how can you tell me that that's the only road that you can take? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So many.
And my man from WBC, I forget my man's name, but Jawan Carr, I know y'all know him. He played for Pender. He going to UNC Dub. Played with WBC his whole life. Do you think he did not have another opportunity to go somewhere else?
Yeah,
he did plenty.
And you're talking about Coach BJ Donnell. He's
Coach BJ.
That's our guy.
Good guy, man. Me and him talk on Twitter all the time.
He's
matter of fact, me and him had a conversation maybe a month or so ago about market saturation with teams, and teams need to work together more and all that. But that's another conversation. We could go on for weeks about that. But Jawan, what I applaud about him, he stuck it out and it paid off, and he had multiple D1 offers. Multiple. So you can't tell me that it cannot be done. It can be done if you put in the work. If you're willing to put in the work, they will find you. How do you think NBA teams find the EuroLeague players? You know what I'm saying? How they finding these guys that, never played in college, never went to anything remotely close to college. They're just every day you pull up the NBA draft board for next year. They already got 4, 5, 6 international players up there. We don't even know who they are. I didn't know who Giannis was before Giannis got in the NBA, but they did. They found him. So you can't tell me they can't find you, man. It's hard to believe. Yes, you have to go to the events where the coaches are at that fit your situation. That's another conversation that's big. That fit your situation. You have to do that, but you can be found, and that's one thing I preach to kids. You can be found. If you're good, people like you two guys, you're gonna find them and you're gonna talk them up. And when you're talking them up, somebody else is gonna be like, "Hey man, they might be pretty good. Let's go check them out." And then they're gonna talk you up, and then it's gonna be a trickle down effect that it's gonna, if it's for you, man, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, that's what and you talk about finding your right fit. I think a lot of times that is sometimes the problem, trying to figure out where you are,
right,
and not being truthful with yourself about where you're at, or your parents not understanding where you're at, and a lot of times people not having the right information to tell people like, hey, that's not, you're not there.
Right. Yeah.
You need to be right here, right now, or this is where you're going to be.
Most of the big circuit teams, they have their team before they even do the tryout, or they have an idea about who coming, things, who they want, things of that nature. They've already done their research, see if they can get X,
it's
Y,
normally a spot or two open.
Yeah, might be a spot or two. Really, they're looking for a diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? Somebody show up that we don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature, and I see a lot of kids get caught up in that, and they get lost in the way. They'll make the team, but then they just relegated to a bench spot where they could have went on another team. I'm not saying this for DCBC, trust me. Saying this for all teams in general. You end up on a spot on the team, and you really don't get no play, but you could be playing with another team, and you're the number one guy, and you're getting some spotlight. So it's like you said, it's got to be a parents thing. Got to sit down, got to really look at what your core values are, what you're looking to get out of this AAU travel ball thing. What are your son looking at getting, and also the travel. A lot of these sponsor teams, they travel. You know, if you're not willing to pick up and go to Alabama and then go to, Atlanta and stuff like that, that's not for you. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at all that in general, and then once you have all your information in front of you, make the most well-informed decisions you can. Because there's so many avenues you can go, so many teams out here, man. It's a very difficult process. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not, especially for kids that's looking to make that jump to another level of basketball. It's not easy at all.
Right. And then, I talk about this, sometimes, there's a lot of a sickness within the basketball culture that comes with social media.
Right.
The wanting to be seen versus the want to actually to actually play basketball.
Right.
And a lot of times I think that gets lost in the fact of, is it about being seen or is it about do you want to play?
Sensation.
Yeah.
A lot of people want that gratification, and some people they thrive in that. But what people miss, and I'm gonna put Zion Williamson. I'm not a Duke fan, but I like Zion game. I'm gonna put Zion Williamson there. Who made Zion Williamson the YouTube sensation? Did he record himself? Nah, he was out there hooping. He'll tell you himself. He said, "Man, I was out there hooping. People record me, and I can do this dunk, and I can throw it off the backboard, and I'm jumping over top of people's head." They recorded, they put it up there. Then all of a sudden, I blew up. But he didn't make himself that. His game did the talking, and that's why I try to tell people: let your game do the talking, and let the people who want to do the videos and stuff, let them do what they do. Focus on you. You work hard. You play the game the right way, and everything else. Just if it's for it to happen for you, man, it'll happen. But like you said, you're right on that. Social media does play a big part in that. I think a lot of kids get lost trying to worry about how many followers they have rather than being a good basketball player.
Yeah, and see, part of that though just goes to the problem of us in the media too. We got to take some, responsibility of it as well. We look at it, there's outlets and that are afraid to cover kids who don't have 1,000 Instagram followers or 1,000 Twitter followers.
Right.
They want the guys who are already up here. They want, you're up here, you can give us this, versus taking guys who are right here and then understanding that you can boost them up, to go upwards.
Let me ask you a general question, and this is more of a media coverage, a scouting coverage question. Is it better to cover a guy that's already being known or find the next guy?
For me, likely you can answer this after I'm finished. When you look at it, for me, I'm at the gym. I'm in the gym every single night for the most part. I might take a night off or two during a week because I got something else going on personally. But I find that you can get a good mix as long as you understand what you're trying to do.
Right.
And then also too, some teams, are put to you like this way. Sometimes you'll have a team who has one guy who's very special, but the team isn't really all that.
Right.
Versus another team they have 3 or 4 guys who are good and they play really good together and they win a lot and it's fun to go watch them play. So you have to kind of be able to just try to balance how much, coverage you can give one guy versus how much are you trying to give teams of guys. And then also too, when you have, like Clayton was the perfect storm for me. I got a chance to cover a guy who I believe, who I think is a D1 prospect who was close. But then there was other guys on that team, Jaquan Ross, he's going to be a JUCO player. Mason Rush, he's going in the IA. You look at, Shakir Howard, I think he could probably play a JUCO somewhere if he could find the right fit. And then you look at, you keep going down the list, Justin Bell, Javante Long. You got guys there who are, BJ is probably going to be the Instagram post. Not even going to lie to you. It's probably going to be the Instagram post. But at the same time, though, I can also big up these other guys for the roles that they play and, kind of be able to still look at their game.
Well, to directly answer Coach's question, I feel like I like a little bit of both, but I lean more towards trying to find who's next. Like someone who hasn't like gotten the same amount of like publicity as others, you know. And it's really it's fun trying to find who's next. I mean, there's plenty of prospects in our area that I can definitely say without a doubt should have a lot more publicity than they do right now. And really, it's up to us to continue finding these kids who could play and showcasing them to college coaches, and hopefully coaches will come and see what we know already. Like there are plenty of players in the 910 that are like that too. And I know people who've discovered players that others haven't been able to find, you know. And so it's really, I mean, I feel like we're like the media game. I feel like we're a disjointed team of some sort. Not really a team, but we have the same goal, but we go about it different ways. So it's really about trying to just find mostly who's next, but it's also good to talk about who's good and how much. And if we run out of words to say, it's good, right? I think.
And you know that is another thing too. It's also hard to say, hey, you know, this guy's already up, so I'm not going to continue to keep trying to push him up. No, I mean, you have to try to just balance it between, you know, making sure that the guys who are up there can continue to stay be loved right up there, but then also trying to figure out how you can get guys to that next level of, this is a guy who's on the rise. Watch for them coming up. You know, I went to Goldsboro quite a bit because, hey, one, there's a lot of, you know, attention around them. Two, Christian Bullock. He's a good kid. High IQ basketball player, plays the game the right way. And also, he was one of the first kids to embrace WJG sports, you know, when, you know, back at the ECI. Then you look at Xavier Atkinson. I think he's one of the most underrated 2021s. Then you look at Takori Faison. I think he's going to be one of the top kids to come out of the 2023 class. I mean, I think
he's a Division I player already.
Yeah, I think
athleticism is unreal.
Yeah. And I think, you know, at Prep Hoop, they got him ranked number 6. You know, shout out to Jay Anderson. That's a good dude. But
I love it.
The slow rise. I love it. Yeah. So, yeah, we, you know, that was always a good team to go cover because, hey, I live right down the street from the school, and they have a good mix of, there's an unsigned senior who definitely needs to be pushed up. There's a 2021 kid who is not getting the credit I think he deserved for how good of a season he had. And then there's a 2023 kid who, at the time, nobody was talking about him other than Tony Bruton. Tony Bruton put me on before the season. Then I seen Takori at ECI, and I just followed it all the way through for, you know, all three of them. And then also, too, I mean, Jakir Fowler, he's going to be a really good kid. Damaj Oates, he probably didn't get as much burn this year as he's going to get this year because playing behind Christian, but he's also another really good kid.
They got kids coming, too, out of the middle school. So
right, and then they have a loaded middle school.
I heard they did. Yeah.
So it's all about, like I said, it's the balance of trying to keep it afloat financial-wise so that, hey, you know, I'm not burning $200, you know, worth of gas, but then also trying to make sure you keep the guys up here. So that, you know, there's your BJs and here's your CJ Ray right here. Trying to make sure you show him some love because he's not getting what he deserves. And then also here's this other team right here who's really good. And then also just trying to balance out the other in-betweens, you know, the Charles Walkers right here, you know, the Demetric Rice. Just trying to make sure that everyone is shown some love in some way. Because at the end of the day, with our jobs, we have a big responsibility of promoting kids and doing it in a positive fashion.
I fully agree. I just think that we can By the way, I also gotta continue to urge kids to look at the junior college level. I know it's really late, but some of these junior colleges are trying to fill out spots in a hurry, and there are places that need players. So the JUCO level, and you're gonna get great competition no matter where you go. So.
And we're not going to go too far into this, but with the transfer portal coming, there's going to be a lot more kids who are going to have to go junior college unless you are super, super special.
Yeah,
especially for that first year waiver, they do that. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. If they do that 1 year transfer rule, it's over. Like there's going to be hardly any high school seniors I think that you're going to see lining up to be at a D2 or a D1. As it is, I mean, I think we've already kind of seen it to some point, but now with the 1 year waiver, the one time transfer, it's over.
It's so crazy. There's like 9 billion players in there. Like
it's a lot.
I was exaggerating on the number, obviously, but I mean, there is a lot of.
It might be about 700. It might be about 700.
Yes, exactly. And there are, and like there's what spots are going to be available for 2020 and 21, especially those classes. What are kind of the options for them, especially like right now this late for 2020s. So like I'm not sure. Like the portal is just crazy.
I think it's crazy because I think the trickle down effect is next year we're gonna have a lot of unsigned seniors playing travel, which you normally don't have. Some teams have seniors that still play, but most of the time, when they're in 12th grade and they don't have any offers or anything right there, unless they just want to play for the fun of it, you know what I'm saying? They'll play, but most of the time your seniors they walk away from it because at that time they're already decided where they're going to college at for the most part and all that. But I think next year, more than any year ever before, and probably the next couple years, because all this happened, we'll have more seniors that'll play as unsigned seniors. Just because.
And then post-grad as well.
And I think too, when you look at the unsigned senior ball, sometimes I do think that it is a little. I've had a JUCO coach tell me you're doing your kids a disservice because you're taking away either spots or minutes from kids who have done everything they're supposed to do up to the junior year, and for kids that either you didn't do a good job for, or either that haven't earned this responsibility.
Yeah, it's a catch 2020, man. That's why you see a lot of teams now. They'll have just an unsigned senior team. Me personally, I probably wouldn't do that. I probably won't do that just because that's another coach you need and all that kind of stuff you got to do to even have a team. Which and that's one thing. Let me speak about for just a second. A lot of people don't understand the work, the time, the effort, and energy it takes to be a travel basketball coach. We spend a lot of time, planning out the schedule, keeping up with the kids, thinking about what we're going to do with the kids once we get them, planning out practices, deciding what hotel we're going to stay in, deciding where we're going to go. It's just a lot of things that, I'm constantly thinking about, how to better myself so I can be with the guys when we all come back together again, you know what I'm saying? That goes unnoticed, man. So I want to shout out to all the travel basketball coaches, man, for all their sacrifice, because a lot of people don't say that enough, whatever level.
Right. I mean, hey, you didn't even mention fundraising, the money that comes out of your own pocket to help kids who are not your own kids.
Especially in markets like Duplin County, like smaller programs that may not have as much. Excuse me.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do all that. We're fundraising. We're gotta pay your registration fee and all that. Speaking of that, I had a coach stop me. We were in Virginia Beach last year playing at Williams Sports Complex. You guys go out there and check it out if you've never been. It's a historic place, man. You walk in there and see all the retired jerseys and stuff. That was my first time actually going last year. It was special. And they looked at me and said, Coach, hey, that's your son, number 12. I said, I don't have no kids out here. They immediately just looked at me in this crazy look like, what? You don't have no kids playing? I said, nah, my son 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? They were like, what? I said, nah, I'm doing it, because I love the kids and I want to see them do something that they love and get better at it. And, that's my joy in it. That's why I've been doing it so long, and I tell people fast, um, this is not about me. You know what I'm saying? This is me giving my knowledge to someone else. That's the love and the joy in it. You don't have that love and that joy for it. And I tell people all the time, um, that's why we have a lot of teams that here today and gone tomorrow, man. You're only in it for your son. Find somebody you trust and let your son play. You know, and it'll be better basketball all the way around instead of having as much market saturation as we have now. Players, ridiculous.
All right, I think that's a good place to leave it off here, at least, of course, on air. Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, man.
Hey, man, guys, I appreciate your time, man. Anytime you need me to come on for anything, man, just hit me up. Let me know. I'll be more than glad to come on with you guys, man. Appreciate all you do, man. WJG Sports, man. Appreciate all that y'all going to do for, this area of the state going forward, man.
Thank you.
Just from the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you already. I'm sure the kids are going to thank you as well, man.
Of course,
Thank you so much.
We definitely appreciate it, man. You want to go ahead and you got some social medias you want to plug in and everything?
Man, just follow me on Twitter, man, at All About the Biz 8, and on Instagram at All About the Biz. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, man, just hit me up. I'm always available. Have any kind of conversation you want to have.
Yes, sir. Well, this is the Just Like Brothers podcast. 47 episodes down, Kai. Would you believe it? And we got more coming this week, so keep it locked. And we're on that goal to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the month. Thank you to everybody who subscribed recently. We had a really big spike the last few days, so Thank you. Keep subscribe and check out everything we got coming soon. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. So that I think that's it. Kyle, you got anything else?
Come on, guys. 85 more subscribers. Get us there to 1,000. We always appreciate what you guys do for us. We love doing it for y'all. Show us some love, man. Show us some love. How much it costs to show a man some love, man?